pesticides, even organic ones. If you can put these baskets together using simple welded wire and the window screen that you can buy at any Swiss chard, really high in B vitamins. They'll grow year-round here in California, and you can get 5 years out of a plant if you keep your harvest up. And this protects them from the insects that eat the leaves and things. Because we eat the leaves, I don't even want organic pesticides on them because it has a flavor. Buick LeSabre ran a stop sign and pushed the passenger door of my pickup all the way to the stick shift. And I was taken to the hospital, and I was on my way to surgery with a lacerated liver, and the surgeon was standing next to me when the aorta separated from my heart, and this created a lack of oxygen to the spinal column, and it made me which resulted in a T10 paraplegic, which is my injury. From the middle of my back down, I have no muscle control or feeling. And when this happens to you late in life, you tend to cry in your milk a little bit of all the things that you cannot do anymore. And you have harmful thoughts of, why'd they even bother to save me? I'd rather just have passed on. And in that hospital room, fortunately, a friend that I was visiting came to the room and listened to me a little bit, and he said that I needed to have an attitude adjustment, and so he put a towel under the door and smoked some cannabis with me, and it allows you to look at things in different ways instead of this negative attitude that I had. I started looking at the things that I could do and how I could get there to do them. And so the result of that joint, you might say, or that cannabis experience is what brought about this garden and the farm and everything. These are things that I still can do, and with the development of the equipment that I'm making in the shops here, that I will be able to do, and that it will allow anybody with a disability to be able to garden and farm. We will make it happen if they want to do it. Anything that would completely eliminate pain will alter your ability to function and interrelate with machinery and your environment, whether it be cannabis, opiates. What cannabis does for me is allows me to put the pain in the background and continue to function to a point that I only need a heavier pain relievers at bedtime, and I don't need them during the day. It allows me to have a more functional life. And also it inspires me to make and do the inventions that are here, instead of throwing my hands up saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. When I take a couple hits of my medicine, I sit there and think of alternative ways to do the same thing. And it has more to do with inspiration and not clouding my ability to think. I can do the things. I run table saws, I run skill saws, I weld, I run milling machines, I run metal lathes, I run plasma cutters, and you couldn't do that on opiates. It's just impossible. And the other pharmaceuticals are basically just mimicking those and they don't allow you to have a life. Cannabis allows me to have a life plus enough pain relief to enjoy it. Because of prohibition, the medicine that I prefer to use, which is cannabis, is so expensive that on disability nobody can afford it. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so that you'll go to the doctor and you'll go on Medi-Cal and you'll take their pills and stay in front of a TV and be happy and give them no problems, as opposed to get out there and get in their face and tell them that cannabis is what you prefer to use, and under the Constitution I should be able to use it because it's what allows me to have a full life. The pills that they want me to use and the pharmaceutical companies that they're behooving to because of contributions to their political life is not functional. Like Demerol, Oxycontin, people are dying behind this stuff. Yeah, it kills the pain, but you can't function. You can't even tell if you took a pill an hour ago, so you took another one and you die. Is that a better medicine? Not for me. There's not one shoe fits everybody. Okay? I know what works for me. Every patient that I have found, every person in a wheelchair that I have known benefits from cannabis. I'm not saying there aren't some out there that it doesn't benefit. I'm just saying that everybody that I've met to date has found a benefit from cannabis as opposed to the heavy narcotics that they would normally use. They're able to taper off their narcotic use and experience a fuller life because of the cannabis. And so I recommend that people try it and judge for themselves. Well, for me, I don't believe in organized religion. I talk to the Lord myself when I need things. Mm-hmm. And so that for me it brings me closer to God or Jesus, which was how I was raised. I don't think that the name really matters, whether you believe in, Allah, or whether you believe in Jesus Christ, or you believe in, the Hindu goddess, or you're a druid. It enables you to release the emotional problems of your mind and brings you closer to your spirituality, whatever that may be. To sum it all up, I'm Marshall, and I'm a cannabis farmer because it benefits my life and brings me closer to my Lord. And this is my elephant pipe that was made out of an elk antler.
What are we smoking there now?
This is a Cincy Star.
Nice, very smooth.
And it's just the resins, not the leaf and all that, because like I said, I'm trying to reduce the carbon in my lungs because I can't run around and expel any of it. Yeah. They tried to supplement everything with vitamins that only a very small percentage of it is useful. Doing the hemp seed milks and things like that, it's a food, and so when your body digests the food, the result is that you absorb more of the nutrients and minerals that you're trying to get. That piece of chalk that you ate after breakfast, if you get 3 to 5% out of it, you're a lucky man. things that you get from the leaves of these vegetables or the seeds of the hemp um, nutritionally are superior and are more readily absorbable and more usable by the body. They're, it just makes, man was not meant to run around with 20 pill bottles in his suitcase, and unfortunately the way they grow produce now, you just about have to do that. When you raise it yourself, if you check the mineral content of things that you raise in your garden, you can do this. You can raise all the vegetables for a family of 2, spending 20 minutes a day in your garden if you do it like this. The nutrition is so superior, you can throw away those vitamins. And having the hemp seed to supplement it so that we have another source of clean omega-3s, because we're polluting the oceans to such an extent that the omega-3s that you get in fish are accompanied by so much mercury that you can't ingest enough fish. You're in this balance where you don't have that with the hemp seed. We need those omega-3s, and we don't need the mercury. And we've polluted the planet to such an extent that fish is just loaded with mercury. Pregnant women aren't even supposed to eat it anymore. So where are they going to get their omega-3s? It's going to reduce our carbon footprint, because when anything is raised, okay, you burn this tree up here, the carbon goes into the atmosphere, okay? You make plywood out of it, it's going to tie up that carbon for 100 years. It is known that you can make superior plywood and building materials all from hemp, from insulation to plywood to the resin that holds the plywood together. It's all there in the plant and will last 100 years, and it reduces our carbon imprint. You grow a field of it, you harvest it, the seed and the oils go for food production, and the fiber goes to insulation, building materials, plywood. Because that product lasts so much longer before it's burned or thrown away or left to rot, it's going to tie up that carbon for just that much longer, and we need to keep the carbon tied up. We don't need to burn it. They're burning rice straw because they can't even give it away down here in the valley. If you made bales out of hemp straw and did the straw bale construction, those buildings would last for hundreds of years, and that carbon would be tied up. And you'd have an R value of 1,000. The heat's not going to penetrate that wall because it's 2 foot thick. And it's naturally resistant to insects. For the trees, you need an oil that smothers the larval forms of insects. And so in that vein, you spray a dormant oil spray in the fall, and then in the spring we do what they call a light oil spray. And so you're looking for the lightest oil that you can find, and so you want to have, of course, an oil that is not solid at room temperature. And so this year I was going to experiment with 2 different oils, one hemp seed oil and the other neem oil in my light spray, because we have a problem with both the peach tree borer, twig borer, and their larval form. They're actually a moth, and their larval form is what gets into the tree and makes those little sap pockets, and is harmful to the tree. And the more organic friendly an oil is for me, I like the fact that you can expaler press hemp seed and not have to extract it with chemicals. Canola oil is heavy chemicals. And I don't know. Plus, 420 is also my birthday. I was born April 20th, 1954.